You're booked, you're busy, but your bank account and your bottom line says otherwise. Let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to be talking about what it really takes to win, right? And why it is that you're overbooked and busy, but your bank account is not reflecting those numbers. Something is going on, right? What's the underlying issue? Because the math ain't mathing. So let's really get into it. I want to first talk about how overbooking really is a trauma response and ego validation. And you might be saying, what? Like, what do you mean by that? I'll tell you, plain and simple. It's because being busy feels like you're being valuable, right? Being busy feels like you're being valuable. And saying yes to everything and everybody is really out of fear, out of lack, out of scarcity. So we've got to move away from that scarcity mindset, really into that abundance mindset. It really does take a shift. And we've got to get out of that employee mindset as well, which often comes from us, it's rooted in fear and lack and scarcity and all of those things. We've got to shift gears and turn a different switch on when we are becoming entrepreneurs or real business owners and think like big businesses and the CEOs that we are of our business, our brand, in our life, right? The other thing too I want to mention is that there are so many dangers to you undercharging right now, charging too little out of fear, discounting your prices, discounting your services, trying to serve the masses as opposed to charging premium prices for your packages, your products, and your programs, right? Positioning yourself properly, like you're not doing those things because you're fearful and you're trying to serve everyone at the bottom and being a generalist as opposed to a specialist. And that is why, and it's again, it's all rooted in fear. So we've got to move away from that, because that's why you're burnt out. It's a big reason as to why you're burnt out, believe it or not. So we've got to learn a different business model, right? I know there's a whole thing going around the internet streets from people who tell you, oh, just, sell all these low ticket offers, these digital products, especially an ebook, right? The whole ebook myth. I know I was sold the same lie to, girl, don't. If you do it, it's nothing wrong with it. I have that in my arsenal too, right? I always have that in my back pocket, but I use that more or less as a lead generation. I use that always. Everything should be leading towards your North Star offer, right? And so the highest experience and the highest transformation you get for your clients is what I mean by North Star offers. That's what we all should know that as. So if that's not what you have right now, and that's why I always say, let's start high and then go low, right? We can always start high and then break our offers down to mid-tier and low ticket offers and then have a full product suite. But if you're not doing that, and if you don't even have a high ticket offer in place right now, for your most ideal dream clients, then that's why you're attracting the wrong clients. And that's why you're feeling burnt out and stressed and overwhelmed and overbooked and busy and all the things, but it's not reflecting in your bank account. And we've got to undo all of that, unlearn all of that, and get into a new mindset. Okay. Stop discounting your services. We are not a bargain bin. Okay. You are not a Walmart. You are worth every penny, every red cent, okay, that you're charging at a premium rate. Okay. Stop trying to charge an affordable rate and stop being in people's pockets and pocketbooks, okay, and purses. We're not trying to do that over here because that's not what makes sense. We don't know where people have resources and what their financial resources look like. So stop making the assumption, which is rude as hell, by the way, just in case you didn't know that. Think about it that way. It's really rude. I mean, can you imagine somebody tells you or looks at you and says, you know what, you can't afford this price, so they don't sell it to you. What? How do you feel? How do you know what's in my pocket, my pocketbook or bank account? What are you talking about? True story, real quick sidebar. Just the other day, I drive a Mercedes, okay? I've driven a Benz for a long time. Like that's always been like well, not always. It used to be. I used to have another dream car, but for the longest time, Mercedes Benz was my dream car, still is, and that's what I'm driving still to this day. I was driving a newer model the other day, and I pulled up. I was just running errands as usual, and this older white lady pulls up to me. So she sees that my car was getting some maintenance done, okay? And I'm going to get back to the story. This is the whole thing of what the whole point I'm making. I'm just going deeper. I get out of this courtesy car because I had to get a loaner while my car was being maintenance, right? And and so obviously a Mercedes is a premium and is a high-end car. It's not just any old vehicle, right? And not to dismiss, discredit any or to make anybody feel shameful that they're driving a lower end car. That's not what the point is here. You might do that for affordability purposes. You might do it because you don't really care to drive a high end car, and that's you're entitled to do whatever you want. But I'm a Mercedes kind of girl, okay? Very bougie, very diva-like, very prissy, prim, and proper. Always have been, always will be. Okay, just so you know. Now, I was getting out of the car, minding my own business. This white lady was putting her stuff in the trunk, and I said, I just spoke, I'm bubbly. Hey, how's it doing? How's it going? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. She says hello. And before she didn't even really, she said, I believe she said hello. I don't even know. I feel like she kind of went right into what she wanted to say because she wanted to say what she had to say before I went on about my business. And she says to me, oh, this must be a car that you're not used to driving, right? And that this must be, or how did she say it exactly? I'm kind of paraphrasing right now, but she said something to the effect that, oh, this must be a different kind of car than what you're used to driving. Her exact words, verbatim. And I said, excuse me? I mean, I was so taken aback, and I don't know why, but we have all kind of Karens in this world today. But she comes from that school of thought, that era, right? And I'm like, okay, she must not realize that we're in a new era. We're in a new day and age here. And so I said, well, what made you assume that? And what do you mean by that exactly? Oh, well, I figured you're driving, what is this, like a Camry with a sticker on it that says Mercedes? And she goes all the way around to the back of my car to realize, oh, it has the whole Mercedes emblem, Mercedes logo, Mercedes name. Yes, lady, it's a Mercedes. You can't have a Camry and just go pick up a Mercedes loaner. You know what I mean? So the audacity that she would take one look at me and make the assumption, back to my point, you thought I forgot, as to I could not afford a car like a Mercedes. Certainly, I wouldn't be driving a Mercedes for real, for real. So it must be just, a Mercedes emblem or a loaner that I got, but it was just weird. And she felt really stupid, you can tell. But did she apologize? Of course not. No, she wanted to just kind of make a little jokey joke. Well, oh yeah, I didn't realize, I should have known. I didn't think, and da 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 da. Yeah, well, next time you should think right before you open your mouth and make the assumption. So when you make an assumption, it makes an ASS out of you, right? Not me, right? So think about that the next time you're in somebody's pocket. That's my point. And you're assuming that they can afford it based on how they look, based on what you think you know about that person. Don't make that assumption, okay? So that all to say, that is my point here, is that when you want to attract high-end clients, you don't want to keep discounting your services, because instead of charging a premium offer and selling your services for a higher end offer or higher end prices, as opposed to based on accessibility and affordability, unless you're leading that client, right, or those people that you're working with into the next highest tier thing that you have, because that's where the transformation lies. You understand what I'm saying? Besides, you don't want to build up a business on burnout and on busyness, and essentially you're going to resent working with these people, because these are going to be clients you attract who drain your energy and your soul, girl. Okay, you want to be aligned, and you want to be energetically aligned with everybody you work with and interact with. And that's why you got to be really clear on your core values. Now, before we get into any more, right, and before I get into my next point, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, girl, go ahead and leave a comment below so we can get this discussion popping. I want to know everything you're thinking right now. What are you feeling? What do you think about that story? Ain't that just the nerve, right? But I don't know why. This is nothing new, but it just really took me aback that day. So I had to get her all the way together, okay? And let her know, no, lady, we are in a new era, okay? Not the era that you come from. So get with the program, or don't. But anywho, let me know what you're feeling, what hits home with you, what's resonating with you the most. And by the way, if you are feeling my content and you love it here, great. I'm so glad, girl. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, by the way, so you don't miss a single episode whenever I go live and or drop new content. Okay, now, why is being busy? Here's the thing. I want you to know that being busy isn't the same as being productive, and it certainly ain't the same as being profitable. Let's just get that straight, okay? You've got to learn how to stop tracking time versus stop tracking revenue. You've got to track your revenue, and you've more importantly got to track the activities that you're taking and the tasks that you're doing every single day to get you to your revenue goals. Okay, you can't just have a big old revenue goal of wanting to hit your first 100K or your first multi six figures or your first, like me, 7-figure business and hit that $1 million business. Well, how are you going to ever get there if you don't know what you're doing every single day on the way? Like, what's the process? What's the action steps? What are you implementing? What are you doing? What rooms are you in? Who do you need to know? Whose elbows and key players do you need to be rubbing, elbows with? Key players you need to rub elbows with. What action do you need to be taking exactly, like every single day? Incremental steps, right? What are you doing? Literally, what action are you taking every day, every single day through your 8 or so hours that you're working to get to the dream, to get to the goal? What is that? What are those things? That's what we got to get clear on. Crystal clear. Because you're going to look up one day and it's already Q2, it's Q4, it's the end of the year, it's Happy New Year, it's Christmas time. It's like, oh my God, I didn't hit my goals because you weren't tracking. You weren't tracking your time, or maybe you were tracking your time, but you weren't tracking your activities, right? So track your task and pay attention to what you're doing, and have it stacked every single day so that and I can even show you a whole thing, but I'll do that in another video so we don't have a whole lot of time here. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want you to know, if you track your habits, if you track what you're doing every day, if you track your action, you will look back day by day, week by week, month by month, right? Quarter by quarter, and you'll realize, oh, okay, I know what I was doing or not doing enough of, or doing too little of, or what have you. That's why I didn't hit my goals, or that's why I did. Let's do more of that. Let's 10x that, right? And let's do less of the other thing that ain't getting us there quicker, faster, and sooner. Okay, I think I've said enough on that, right? Now, energy leaks. Energy leaks equal money leaks. Energy leaks equal money leaks. You've got to know where your money's going, what's coming in and what's going out. So I hope you have a spreadsheet of some sort to determine that, and to help you, understand like what your money's looking like and why the math is or ain't mathing. We got to know our numbers. That's very important. And everything we do should be reverse engineered, right? So what is our ultimate goal? And then what are we doing? Let's back into that. What are the activities we're doing every single day to make sure we hit those goals? Okay. So real life examples of shifting from being overbooked to being aligned, okay, is what I want to talk about next. And that is really sharing. I'm trying to think of a personal story, actually, because I like to just drive the information I'm giving you, like I really want to drive it home with a real personal story, because I really feel like that hits harder, right? That hits the heartstrings more. But I can't think of a story right off the bat, right? Okay, and so let's just get to it. We need to learn how to reduce our workload in order to increase our income. Okay, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. Not really a story, but just something I had to switch gears with in my mindset and actually start doing more of or less of, right? I was working too much in the weeds of my business, too much in the trenches, too much control, even when I had a team. I know, control freak for sure. And I really had to learn how to surrender that and let go and trust the people who I hired to help me to shine at the forefront so they can do all the busy work in the back of the business, right? The back end stuff so I can shine out front. You need the spotlight on you as the visionary, as the CEO of your business and your brand. That's real life. So in order for you to do that, you're going to have to let go, sis. Let the people you hired, or if you didn't hire yet, girl, that's the first thing we got to do. First order of business is delegating. Okay, you cannot be the CEO ever or hit those numbers you want to hit, especially those high numbers. If you ever want that, you've got to delegate some things and let the people who are best at what they do, let them shine in their roles, right? And so you can really stand in the truth of what a CEO is and do CEO work, okay? So that's what I had to do. I've been doing that for a while, and it is the best thing I've ever done. Like it just will be, it will be so freeing, so liberating, and it will allow you the time, the peace, the place, the space the headspace you need to be creative, all of that to go do other things that you need to be working on as a CEO. Okay, because there's a ton of things you need to do, and it ain't being busy in business. You know what I'm saying? Okay, share the workload, get some of those things off your plate. Okay, and systems and pricing upgrades is key. Okay, we've got to increase our prices. We've got to put systems in place. We've got to have better structure. You know, I talk about all these things all the time, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, which is it's kind of a crazy saying, right? But it's true. Now, what does it look like to run a business rooted in worthiness, right? What does it look like to run a business rooted in worthiness? Okay, it looks like fewer clients. It looks like higher end clients, quality clients, okay, dream clients, champagne clients, right? Deeper transformation that you can get, because we're not going wide and trying to, cast a net on, everybody, the masses. We're not trying to reach everybody at the bottom. We want those at the top who are being ignored, right? We want to serve those people as the specialists that we are, not the generalist, and not just trying to grab everybody at the bottom who's just going to make us miserable and, like I said, drain our energy and our souls. We don't want that. We want to work with quality people, okay? And those people are at the top, waiting, wishing, hoping, praying, begging, pleading. Where is she? Please let her show up. You're here. They just haven't found you because you're not speaking the right message, right? I'm going to help you do that. You know how? I'm going to help you build a freedom-based business, because business should feel like freedom, not like a cage, not like a box, not like a bubble, right? You want to be free. That's what abundance is. And you want to really and truly embrace ease. So how can you get out and move away from this whole burnout thing and this deeper hellhole you've created for yourself, right? We want to move from hell to heaven, right? We want to go from Kansas City to Oz. We want to go from zero to hero, right? We want to be the boss of our lives and really and truly the CEO of everything, right? So how do we do that? Well, one of the options that I want to present to you is the Legacy Lounge. If you're ready to stop trading time for dollars, if you're ready to stop trading time for tiny checks, okay, let me keep it rated PG here. Okay, we could really, really, really go there when you get in the lounge. But for now, I'm gonna keep it rated PG, okay? But let's move away from those teeny tiny checks that you're getting right now, okay? Get into the Legacy Lounge. We are raising our standards and we're raising prices. Okay. And I'm going to teach you how to do that so you can create your first 5K or more a month or more freedom based. That's the key right there. Freedom based business. Operative words. Okay. I choose my words wisely. Freedom based business, because that's what's important most, right? The money will follow, right? But we want to prioritize our self-care, us first, always. Now, I want to let you know that I appreciate you being here. And if you care, then you will have subscribed already by now. But I want to quickly remind you again, I'm going to tune out while you tune in. I want you to share this video out with at least 3 friends, okay? And watch the next video that YouTube recommends, especially if you're getting value from my channel. Thank you so much for being here, not just for me, but for yourself. I'm going to leave the links to the resources I stated in the pinned comment below. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly, honey, in this journey with you. Bye, bye, bye. Just for now. Meet me on the inside of the Legacy Lounge, okay? Don't make me say it twice.